Alright guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another video and another red zone video around EZA transforming Gogeta Blue, this time against Cooler Core. One of, if not the current hardest hitting red zone boss in the game. I can't remember his stats, all I know he's up there as one of the hardest hitting, if not the hardest hitting. And as I mentioned before, making videos, or at least making red zone content around EZA Gogeta Blue has probably been the easiest unit I've ever had to make content around. Literally, each red zone attempt against Omega, Cooler Core, and Broly, as I said, they're already recorded. But against Omega, Cooler Core, and Broly, he has literally clean swept them. This has literally not been, oh, I've done it on the second try, I've done it on the third try. No, against each of these red zone bosses, I have made the video I wanted in one video, just literally one and done against each stage. He's probably one of the few units in the game that I've actually managed to do that with. Just because you have to contend with other stuff like luck and RNG and stuff, but when I've done specific videos around EZA Gogeta Blue, they have literally been one and done videos against the hardest content in the game. So against Cooler Core, of course the major gimmick in the first phase against specifically Cooler Army is you are stuck here for 3 turns no matter what. This is your time to build up units. By the time you get to Cooler Core, this is your time to stack up units as much as possible by the time you get to Cooler Core. Anything like that. The only other thing you need to do is survive and take as little damage as possible. Yes, that's quite RNG related because obviously the wrong unit can get super attacked, which funny enough, Gamma 2 I'm pretty sure does take a super here, which means we take like just over 300k damage because he wasn't finished building up. So we do lose a lot of HP going into the Cooler Core phase, but that is the main thing you need to do. Survive and hopefully take as little damage as possible. Gogeta Blue helps with that massively. So while the amount of damage he's doing here really doesn't matter at all because you're not here to beat the Cooler Army stage, because you can't. I mean, you probably can, but it'll probably take some absolute ridiculous amount of manipulation to do it. All you need from Gogeta, as I said, is to take as little damage as possible. And well, you can't build him up in this phase, so it's pretty much just take as little damage as possible. Off of one super attack, he's tanking double digits with no item, because I never use items on this phase. One super attack in Super Saiyan, tanks double digits, which is great. And then of course he has that 50% chance to dodge, which, yes, obviously if the coin flip doesn't go your way, he could be super attacked. If he gets hit by a basic, again, it doesn't matter because a lot of the time he's going to be in slot 2 or slot 3. You're never really going to put him in slot 1. Once he's in blue, you can do that if you want to. It's a bit of a risk, but considering he has the 70% chance to dodge, you can do that. I wouldn't do that against Cooler Core just because he hits so hard, and if he doesn't dodge, you're going to be taking a lot of damage. But in the first phase in Super Saiyan, once he super attacks, as I said, double digits on a basic, so even if he doesn't dodge, it doesn't really matter. He would tank a super probably for like 100k, which is kind of standard for a lot of the kind of better units in the game. Again, you want to take as little damage as possible, but considering again the standard of like the top tier units, they're tanking like just over 100k on this phase anyway, so it's still pretty good. But again, he has that 50% chance to dodge. So if he was to be supered, because it doesn't matter on the basic because he's tanking double digits in the first place, if he was to be supered, that coin flip goes your way, that has a 50% chance to dodge, and he can dodge the super completely. And again, that helps your game plan of take as little damage in the first phase against Cooler Army as possible, which is a great utility to have. I'm starting to think, or I'm starting to believe a hell of a lot, that dodge is probably one of the most strongest mechanics in the game right now, especially because all the new red zone stages, Dokkan is allowing you to be able to dodge the strongest and hardest, events in the game. A lot of the more recent red zone stages, Cooler Core onwards, I think Broly as well, but against the hardest bosses in the game, Dokkan is consistently allowing you to be able to dodge. So dodge units are incredibly valuable, Not to mention, once he goes into blue, he has that 4 turns of basically stacking, like mini stacking, where you can stack his attack and defense by 50% for 4 turns. It's not a lot, but because of how good he is, and again, it's 50% each turn, and then there's also the potential of additionals, his defense can get into very good spots where he's tanking double digits on basics off of 1 super because of the 50% defense raise, which he does against Cooler Core as well. Again, any additionals help him tank a lot better, more so towards supers. He puts out like 7-8 million plus attack stats, 10-11 million if you get the dodge off and get the extra key and attack plus 50% for getting the dodge. Again, I think for 4 turns he keeps it, 5 turns, I think it's 4 though. So he's doing like 10-11 million attack stats, which is good in it, like in itself. But then he has that guaranteed crit when he's in Super Saiyan Blue, which means he's doing 7, 8 to 10 million, 11 million attack stats with guaranteed crit, which means the amount of damage he is doing to some of the hardest content in the game is generally ridiculous. And then not only that, if you hit an additional, I mean, he's sealed here, so we can't even raise his attack and defense this turn. All he has to do is dodge. Even though I may have a Whis active, I can't remember. But with the guaranteed crit, he's already doing ridiculous amounts of damage to the hardest bosses' health bars in the game. If he hits an additional, not only do you get the extra 50% attack and defense raise, which is great, helping him do more damage, having a bit more defense, help out tanking those supers a bit more, if he doesn't dodge them, that is. But then he'll also crit on them as well, so the amount of actual raw damage this guy is doing, like raw damage he's doing to enemy health bars in the game, is generally ridiculous when you consider like a 10-11 million attack stat if he dodges and gets the 50% attack. Even with the 7, 8, 9 million he's getting without it, and then doing it again with a bit more attack because of the 50% defense raise, is still ridiculous. And then to continue my point about dodge being so strong, not only does he do amazing amounts of damage, especially because of the built-in crit and the numbers he's getting to, he also has 2 great rotations with 2 of the best slot 1 units in the game in God Goku and Bird Ku. So he can go in slot 2 where he needs to be so he can super first. But then he's also got a 70% chance to dodge while being Super Saiyan Blue, which, as I said, Dokkan from Cooler Core onwards has allowed all the hardest stages of Red Zone, you're able to dodge them. So while being a very heavy hitting unit, while doing, you know, the built-in crit, which helps him do so much damage, while also having a fantastic rotation, very good defense, he's also got a 70% chance to dodge, which with how hard red zone bosses can hit, like Cooler Core does some of the most damage in the entire game on super attacks. Like, you do not want anyone to be super attacked by him, apart from like God Goku and Bird Ku, with some build-up, that is. Like, you literally don't want hardly any of the units to be super attacked against him unless they counter or dodge him. And that's why dodge is so valuable. So on top of him already being an amazing unit, he has that 70% chance to dodge, where literally if Cooler Core super attacks Gogeta Blue, bang, and he dodges, you take no damage. And it's not even a 30% chance, it's a 70% chance. That means the majority of the time, if you're incredibly unlucky, that is, he won't. But that means the majority of the time, he will be dodging the hardest hitting bosses in the game multiple times. And as I said, the majority of the time as well. That's what makes Gogeta Blue's EZA so good, is he has one of the strongest mechanics in the game, where you can go from taking probably like 900k, a million plus damage on a super, where you're going to be guaranteed dead, to none at all, while dealing, as you saw there, over a 10 million attack stat with a guaranteed crit, doing 5.8 million, then hitting an additional and critting him again, doing like 11 to 12 million damage in one turn by himself. And there you go, double digits on a basic again. Again, I may have an item active, I don't know, but that's why that's so important. We potentially could have died there, but he dodged, which means we took no damage off one of the hardest hitting bosses with the hardest hitting super in the game, or nothing. So this is what makes EZA Gogeta Blue so good. This is what makes him the best EZA in the game. And this is why it's been so easy for me to make red zone content around him, and probably anyone else really. Because he is that good. Amazing damage output, the crit makes him do so much damage against the hardest events in the game. An additional is just like a bonus, that's like the cherry on top. Great defense, especially when he's in blue and you've got the 4 turns to raise your attack and defense by 50%. But more importantly, the 70% chance to dodge. But let me know what you think down in the comments. He is generally ridiculous. It's been a lot of fun using him. I'll see you in the next video, guys. And peace.